Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? We got a 3-part Tabata workout. Tabata, let's talk really quick. So Tabata is 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of resting, and that's for 8 rounds, so it's 4 minutes total. Now again, Tabata, 8 rounds of the 20 on, 10 off, that means we can't really sprint it out. Because if you're sprinting for that 20 seconds on the first round or two, you probably won't have the gas to finish the last couple rounds. And the way we score Tabata is taking our lowest of the 8 rounds. So for goblet squats here, we get 8 rounds, we get 8 scores. The lowest number is our score. So the goal is to be steady, right? We want to be consistent and have the highest possible number we can without having like a bunch of spikes, right? So we want to stay pretty even, 8 to 9 or 8 to 10 kind of range, not like a 5 and a 15. That's a little too far of a jump. It means you went out way too hot and then you fell way off, right? So again, we want to stay as consistent as we can while pushing it. Don't take it easy. And that is our score for each round. We'll have 3 scores basically, right? The lowest round, lowest round, lowest round. So, movements. We've got goblet squats, plank runs, and Russian twists. We'll talk about the movements in a second. But there's a minute rest in between. So 4 minutes, the full Tabata here, 8 rounds, 4 minutes. Then we get a minute rest. Then the 8 rounds, 4 minutes of plank runs, a minute rest, and then finishing with the Russian twists here. So, movements, goblet squats, pretty standard. Grab a weight, squat. Just mentioning, full depth here. We don't want to squat down here, right? Hips should be below, the hip crease needs to be below the knee. And our elbows, we want our elbows to be inside. We don't want to come crashing down and smashing our elbows on the knees. So make sure your elbows are inside the knees. We're going to keep one weight the entire time here. Make it challenging, like I said, but make it doable so we can keep a consistent number, but push yourself. Then, moving on to plank runs. So let's talk plank runs. Couple options on the plank runs here. So, plank, start to plank. Then for the hands, we can do a couple of things. We can lift them up. We can tap opposite shoulders. We can tap the same shoulder, or we can tap our quad. I'm going to show that from the side angle here. So we can go ahead and start in a plank, lift up. We can go ahead and tap opposite shoulders. We can tap the same shoulders, or we can tap our quads. And as I mentioned those, they went from they increased in difficulty each kind of hand movement I did there. So kind of pick your poison. You can always switch out and kind of move up or down with each round. That's totally fine. Just make sure it's challenging. Here's the goal in the plank run. It's not just to waddle around and just move your hands. The goal is to hold a plank. And when we're holding a plank, this is not holding a plank, right? We want to be steady, nice and straight. We want to move our core as little as possible. So I'm going to show it from this angle here. What we don't want to see, we do not want to see this. See when I'm like way twisting and I'm no longer holding a plank? That's not the goal, right? We want to be nice and steady and lock in that core, that plank position, as much as we can, as tight as we can, hopefully the entire time. So, what we want to see is this. See how I'm not really twisting at all? Right? This is what we want to see. Ideally, if someone's looking at you, when you pick one of your hands up, they shouldn't notice any different in your form. That's the goal. Not so easy to do, but that is the goal. Finally, Russian twists. So, ideally with a weight. If you don't want to use a weight, that's all right. We want our feet in the air, starting here, and we're going to twist our entire shoulder cage. Don't make the mistake of just doing this, where I'm not really twisting my abs at all, and I'm just kind of tapping with my hands. You're going to get some ab work by holding this position, right? By balancing here. You'll still get some work, but you're not really getting the rotational work that we want with a Russian twist. You're kind of losing the twist part if you don't rotate. So we want the entire shoulder cage to rotate. I'll show it from this angle here. We want the entire shoulder cage to rotate. If I stand up for that, right, this is just moving the arms. You can see that I'm not really rotating, but if I twist my shoulder cage, you can see now my entire torso has turned. It's gonna start engaging the obliques, which is what we want here. So make sure that you're not just tapping with your hands, turn your entire shoulder cage each tap. And the tap should be quick. Ideally, we don't want to see just this. That's great, but the faster you can do it, the more work you're gonna get done, the more you're gonna feel it and really get those nice toe nabs that we're going for here. It's a little trickier to go fast with a weight as well because you have to pick that weight up and down. But again, I'll show with and without here to kind of show you what I'm talking about. Ideally, that's kind of what we're going for. And with the weight, you can't go that fast, but you still want to go as fast as you can. Wasn't going slow and turning, right? We do want to make them fast. Feet are together, raised in the air. The only thing on the ground is your butt. And then rotate through that entire range of motion there. So, those are the movements. Let's get a quick warm-up going here. We're not doing a lot with our arms, but still good to kind of get them nice and loose and prepped here. So we'll just do a little bit of arms. Right. Get a twist going. Starting to prep the midline for the Russian twists. And even the plank. If you aren't really moving a whole lot, you start squeezing, tightening the abs, things might start to seize up. So I'm gonna bend over into a Chris Farley, it's the same thing, kind of loosen up the core here. Let's go ahead and just get some leg swings in. Just 4. Forward, backwards. I'm gonna go sideways. And outside. And then other leg. Just real quick, 4 forwards, 4 backwards. Ooh, whoops. 4 inside. And then 4 outside. Right. Let's get in, just give me 5 air squats. We're gonna hold the last one here. Pry out those knees a little bit. Kind of pulse them. Maybe you can kind of twist here, can rock back and forwards. Just get nice and comfortable down here. We've got, starting off with a bunch of Tabata goblet squats. So make sure the bottom of the squat here feels nice and comfortable, nice and opened up. Take our left hand, left foot. Give me 3 big twists. We're gonna hold this last one. Right hand, right foot, other side. 2, hold this last one. Then come on out to a long lunge. And I'm gonna go ahead and right foot out, take my right hand to my right knee, push my knee outside. And then I'm gonna go ahead and look towards my back left foot, which is dropping my right shoulder to the ground. And I'm gonna come back to center, and I'm gonna drop as low as I can go. Right, we'll switch legs. Left leg, come on up. Left hand on the left knee, push it outside. And I'm gonna go ahead ahead and look over my right shoulder to my right foot, dropping my left shoulder to the ground. And let's come to center, low as you can go. All right. Let's get some good mornings in. Slight bend of the knees. Fuzz. Slight bend of the knees, send my hips back. If I got a bag of groceries, close the car door, right? That's kind of what we're doing here until you feel the hamstrings come on. Nice flat back, don't round here, right? Keep that back nice and flat and just send those hips back until you feel the hamstrings come on. If you're here, great. If you're here, great. Wherever you feel the hamstrings come on, that's where we're going. Might help to have hands up here to keep the back flat as well. We've got a 2-round warm-up. 1 round is going to be a minute of sit-ups, a minute of jumping jacks, a minute of forward lunges, and then a minute rest. Repeat that a second time, and then we're going to go ahead and do a minute Samson stretch per side. I'm going to turn the clock on, and we'll get going to that. As a reminder, this is still our warm-up, so we don't need to go gunning through the whole thing. Keep it moving at a nice, easy pace. It's a warm-up. But don't go too lax with it. Second round should be a little more intense. So I'm going to get the timer on and we'll get going. All right. 5 seconds. Starting with sit-ups. 2, 1, and go. Any form of sit-up is going to be great here. Just kind of start to engage the abs. That's all we're really doing here. Nice easy pace. You can hold on to it for a minute. Just to warm up the abs for the actual WOD. I'm gonna switch up my legs here. Let's try butterfly a little bit. I actually frequently, in normal WODs, I will change my foot position during abs. So if you're familiar with a 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 double unders and sit-up workout, every 10 reps, I actually change my feet position. Why? Why not? All right, jumping jacks. Actually, the reason why, because that way we're kind of working different parts. If we're always doing the same exact thing, for example, bicep curl, if I'm always just doing this, you're always working that same muscle. You're not working anything else. You can see here versus here versus here, different parts of the muscle move. Same thing with the abs and hip flexors. So getting those different feet position are going to help us just work different parts of the body that we aren't used to. You might find that you have a weakness, which we want to work through it. So we like to kind of change up the positions. For jumping jacks, make sure we're not just going here, right? We're not doing like a little baby, what is this, baby T-Rex whale thing? I don't know. All the way overhead. You don't need to clap, just get those arms all the way overhead. Is this a whale? That's not a whale. What am I talking about? Forward lunges. Remember, for lunging, we lunge train track to train track, wide, not a tightrope, right? We're not doing this. We want to go wide. Train track to train track. From the side here, this shin, we want to keep nice and vertical. We don't want to get this big angle here, nor do we want to get this angle here, right? We want that shin nice and vertical. Might be a slight angle, that's okay. But more vertical perpendicular to the ground, what we're going for. That's the goal here. All right. Minute rest. We're going to go ahead and move a little bit quicker through this next round. It's a warm-up, but we want to take it a little easier, or not quite as easy, a little more difficult. We're working up to our working pace almost for the WOD. So you don't have to, but I would suggest trying a different foot position for the abs this time, for the sit-ups. If you want to switch it halfway through, go for it. I probably will. I think I'm going to start with pike sit-ups this time. There's no right or wrong foot position, but you might just feel that some work better for you based on your flexibility, your hip flexor strength, so try some different ones out. Here we go. I'm going to butterfly now. And last 15, I'll go regular foot position. Back to the OG. Jumping jacks. Remember, get those arms all the way overhead. Okay, we're gonna see if we can sprint jumping jacks. I haven't done that before. Here we go. All right, slow it down back a little bit. That was weird. Did you guys do it? You should. Here, if you haven't done it yet, 10 seconds. Ready? Go, sprint jumping jacks. Lunging. Remember, for lunging, we do not put our hands on our quads. Waist is cool, totally fine for the waist, but we don't want any upper body help by pushing. You might say, well, I'm still pushing with my legs. Right, but your bone all the way to the ground, so you're really pushing through the ground using your upper body strength. So we want lower body strength. So no hands on the legs. Hips are cool, waist is cool. Legs, not cool. And we're gonna go right into our Samson stretch. Let's go overhead here. So we're interlocking the fingers overhead. And I'm actually taking this hip and I'm driving this hip into the ground. So you can't really see that, but I'm just driving the hip, not even the knee so much, but more the hip. It's coming from up here. That's gonna increase how much you're feeling the hip flexor stretch. And to increase it even more, we're gonna go ahead and bend over the bent leg here. You should feel it even more down the front. Keep driving that hip into the ground. 5 more seconds. We're gonna do the last 10 seconds at a regular Samson. All right, back up to normal here. Keep driving that hip though into the ground. You can kind of pulse, go a little deeper in it. And we'll switch legs. Other leg up, interlock the fingers, around the shoulders, push out, and let's take it over top. We're gonna drive this hip in the ground now. Again, you can't really see a difference, because I'm not like moving anything necessarily. I'm just kind of pushing my hip into the ground. Can't really describe it a different way besides that. I'm just taking this hip and just kind of pushing. All right, to get that deeper hip flexor, we're gonna bend over the knee that's in the air. Still driving the knee or the hip into the ground. This hip, we're still driving it into the ground. And back up to normal. We're gonna get some pulses in. Okay, time for the workout. 3 Tabatas, 3 times the fun. I'll see you guys in the workout.